buttons. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're tuning in or watching this live broadcast that we're doing at this very moment. Hopefully, you'll be tuning in at this moment. This is the Melanated Air Hour. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern. You can find us on a variety of different channels on YouTube, on Facebook. We have a Melanated Air show. I don't do this by myself. I am Lene Javette. I also do this with anywhere from 2 to 3, 4 other co-hosts. Today we have the lovely, beautiful Teddy Ewing at the Real Teddy Talks, tuning in from Egypt. Hey, Teddy girl, how you doing?
Hey, y'all.
We also have Miss Keisha Ravenel, who is back home in New York from visiting her boo here in Arizona. You can
Yes,
find
yes.
at We Inspire Brand. How you doing?
Good. A little frantic, but I'm good.
Good, good. Okay, so if you saw the title, I'm gonna tell you what we're talking about. First of all, say hello, say hi, say hello, ladies. This is my first time I've been here before. I can't wait for you guys to come on. I'm glad to see you. Just let us know you're in the room. Give us a thumbs up, a hello, a hi, something to get some engagement and activity on the post. Today we're talking about the title is who gets a cut of the check when you invest in yourself. And today's conversation was inspired by this post I saw on Instagram that says, and I quote, Coochie is everywhere, but a woman who wants to help you become who God called you to be isn't. And I was like, ooh, okay, so okay. And that's what the post says. But the comments are what took me out. The comments said, this one young lady says, we're tired of helping, or didn't you know that? Everyone is responsible for their own growth. No one helps Black women become who we're meant to be. And then someone responded, this is true as well. Somebody else responded, I feel you here. I hear you as well. There are things we both can do better for one another, biblically speaking, specifically for one another. Then the person who made the post responded, I have done this many times and for years. Then I should have been putting all of that energy into myself as there was no reciprocation. Somebody else said, bingo. And said, somebody was like, so sorry you have not met your king yet. Yeah, this post is not meant to be funny, but there's some truth in it. Hey, Kiki. Hey, Sheila. Hey, Gwen. Hey, guys. Thank you so much.
Sheila got the colors today. All right,
Yes.
Sheila.
Where do we start this conversation? So, let's start at the beginning, right? Coochie is
Yes.
everywhere, but a woman who wants to help you become who God called you to be isn't, with love. Is it a woman's responsibility to help a man be who God called him to be?
I believe it is if that is your partner. So if that is your husband, your fiance, like even your boyfriend, right? If y'all in a relationship, y'all should be, or y'all are probably working towards something. So I see a lot of women on social media. It's like, what can you do for me, right? Like, oh man, like you're supposed to be a leader, you're supposed to have this money, and all of these things. But it's like, for us, we have to know what we're bringing to the table as well, because like the post said, coochie is everywhere. Like it's the truth, but you have to bring more than just coochie.
And what I like also, he said, a woman who wants to help you become who God called you to be. And I think that's key, is someone who is in their nature to help their man or the opposite be the best they can be. And I think this post easily can be reversed with a woman saying the thing everywhere,
Right.
and a man who wants you to be what God called you to be. I think it's a very reciprocal relationship. We're talking about like a helpmeet, someone that's helping you be your best. And everybody can't have their day to shine at the same time. Like maybe it's your husband or your mate's time to shine. And then a year later, 6 months later, 5 years later, 10 years later, then it's your turn to shine. But you shouldn't sacrifice your own well-being in the process.
That's actually a good point, especially if somebody in the comments said making it biblical, but I think the Bible does says a helpmate. So this young man may be saying, hey, I'm looking for a helpmate, not just what you got in your pants. Like what you got in your pants is cool, that's everywhere, but I'm looking for somebody that can help me get to the next level in my life. I'm looking for somebody that will help bring out who I'm called to be. So I like that. Now let's break down the comments, because the comments the comments is what made me be like, we got to have this conversation.
Yeah.
So this young lady responds and saying, we're tired. So she's a Black lady. We're tired of helping. Or didn't you know that? Everyone is responsible for their own growth. No one helps Black women become who we're meant to be. And that's really where the conversation for me started, right? Um, we're tired.
That's not true, though. I hate those always and never statements, right?
Yeah.
Because my husband has absolutely helped me be the Black woman I am meant to be, like ride or die style. So, and at the very end, when he said, I'm sorry you haven't met your king yet, like that's true. It's like, I feel like you're a little bit wounded. And I'm not trying to say that in a snarky way. I'm just saying she obviously has had some bad experiences, but your mate should be helping you reach your goals and be your best.
Yeah, I agree. And I do agree with her saying that everyone is responsible for their own growth. On the same token, it's like, okay, well, you're responsible for your growth. You do what you need to do to find your king. He does what he needs to do to find his queen. And when you're at that level, you can grow together. So I think that it's important to know that you should be doing the work while you're on your own, while you are by yourself, because when you do the work, you will see who is for you. So if you are identifying, or if you're getting into relationships with people that you are only helping them, maybe you needed to do some more work on your end because you selected that person to be in your life. So you have to do the work in order to identify that king, that queen that is for you. And that is going to help you guys to grow together, and not just, oh, I helped him do this, I helped him do that.
Mm-hmm. So it also, so I think you're saying, agreeing with her, right? So he says, we're tired of helping, or do you know that everyone is responsible for their own growth? So I concur. Each individual is responsible for their own growth. I can be responsible for the growth that I'm going to make as an individual, right? As a woman, as a mate, as a mother, that's my responsibility. I'm responsible for that. However, when you decide to select a mate and a partner, while being responsible for my growth, I have to play a part in being responsible for the growth of the relationship, right? And I think if we look at it like that, I'm not responsible for that person's growth. I remember, not to use them as an example, but Will Smith and Jada, when they got to the place where they were like, they had to realize, like, you're not responsible for me.
Right.
I can't be responsible for you. And once we realized that, we were both able to be better individuals to bring to the union, to make the union better, right?
Yep.
And so when she says that, I get what she's saying. Everyone is responsible for their own growth. No one helps Black women become who we're meant to be. I think it's a relationship thing, right? Black men should be helping Black women. Black women should be helping Black men. And if we both come to the situation, we can both grow. I see a lot of times people be like, I want somebody to make me whole. And I'd be like, boo, if you are not whole going into this relationship, the situation is already doomed. Both people need to be whole.
That's
when
right.
they relationship. You can't be wholly or having different, holes in who you are, come into relationship and think that somebody else is going to fix that and make it better and be whole, because that's when people get tired and get sucked. You suck the life out of somebody. If I have to be everything to you, then how am I going to be who I'm supposed to be for me?
Right.
But here's the other side of the coin. Maybe she meant, when she said no one helps Black women become who they were meant to be, maybe she means like nurturer, protector, mother, right? It's like all of those things are natural. I'm thinking the other word, like when you're born with it, you're just born to do those things. But she's like, right. So you're born as a Black man, you're born to be a protector and a provider and all these things. She's like, so why do I need to help you do that? You should inherently be able to do that without my assistance. Like whoever God created you to be, that you damn well should be able to be without me. I can make you better, but I can't make you become I can't help you become who you are meant to be. So like in the biblical sense, to say that word again, maybe it just means like the deep essence of your being. Like if you ain't that, then my dude, you got a problem. Like I'm not going to help you be that. You got to want that for your own self.
Interesting.
They say that when you get with the right, I forget who I was talking to. They say when you get with the right woman and or man, I'm not going to be sexual either way, or man, because we've seen what Russell Simmons has done for Sierra, so it can go either way, right? We've seen women get with men and dust them off and clean them up. We've seen men get with women, dust them off and clean them up. And I'm not saying that Russell is responsible for Sierra. I'm just saying who you choose to date impacts how you're presented in the world. When she was with Future, she looked and did and acted a certain kind of way, upgraded, if you will, to Russell, completely different person. But it goes
Russell Wilson. You said Russell Simmons. I'm a
I was like, whoa.
right.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, thank you for correcting me, Russell.
Somebody gonna do it. Let me do it first.
There's more than one Russell. Russell Wilson. Thank you for correcting me, because they would have came for me in the comments. But that does play a part in that piece, bringing out who God wants you to be with, bring out your God-given innate talents and skills. And I used to think that way. Like I used to feel and think and believe like it's not my responsibility to big ups you. You know what I'm saying? Like what Teddy say, like some of that you have to have in you. I can help you, but I can't do it for you. And as I'm getting older, as I'm maturing, and I'm looking for a helpmate, and I'm looking for somebody to balance me in the areas where to give me strength in areas where I'm weak, or to kind of do that balancing act. I have a different view of it. I think I have a more holistic view of it, where it's like, and I hate to say it this way, because I know you shouldn't operate off of potential, right? But I always feel like if you are making some type of progress, some type of effort, and being intentional about something, I can work with that. I can't work with not doing anything. No goals, no aspirations, just being cool, sitting where you are. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to have it all today, right now. But can we be working towards something? If we are working towards something, I can work with that. And it's not that I have to, quote unquote, be the person that brings out your God-given goals and plans, but I definitely can be there to help you plant and sow. But you got to tend the land, if that makes sense.
Let me say now, and I'm gonna let you speak in a second, Keisha. We have to talk. There's layers to this. You don't have to have it all the way together, because I'm 42. Lene, I think you're 45. Mm-hmm. Little Keisha here, 32. So she has more time to be with someone that don't have it all together versus us, who is like, wait, hold on now. Like, you don't have to have the master plan. You don't have to have the implemented strategy where you are rocking as a CEO of your own company kind of thing, but you got to have a roof over your head and a way to provide, and hopefully not a lot of debt. And because that is having it all together, but you might still be striving for other things. But you do in our 40s, you do need to have it together, honey.
Yeah, together. You got to have the basics, a little more than the basics. You don't got to be. Ooh, that's good. I'm about to try to start. I'm like, you don't got to be six figure. I don't want to get into monies and things like that.
Yeah, we can't do numbers, but
it's not a numbers thing.
Yeah,
it's a mental thing. It's a work ethics thing. It's an integrity thing. It's a roles thing. It's a leader thing. Like it's these other things that are non-tangible but are fully tangible.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I tell you, I have the same mentality. So, like, for me, of course, I think, oh my God, I'm 32, I'm so old. And then y'all are like, little Keisha.
Go somewhere. You got time.
I was thinking that. And I was thinking that, and I also manifested that. So, like, my fiance, he's not old, he's 29, but he's coming to the table with all of those things. So I was just like, oh yeah, I could do life with him, because we're on the same wavelength, right? Like, we have that same mentality. Like, he owns his home, he has his career, he's a business owner. Like, so even though there's certain things that we haven't obtained yet, now we're like, oh, okay, we could go get that together. Like, we have the mentality, like Lene said, what are you striving for? You should be striving for more. So listen, ladies, you could be 30, 25, whatever. You should still, not should, but like, if you want to get married, like, still have that mentality. And maybe he doesn't have it right now, like you guys said. But for me, I'm like, nah, I'm coming to the table with something. What you got? What you got? You know, so yeah.
So I'm
Maybe it's that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lena.
Okay. I want to reset the room because I see a lot of people are coming in. I want to just let you guys know what we're talking about today. So there was this post on Instagram, and I apologize for the language. I mean, they tried not to use bad language, but so I'm a disclaimer the language. But we're discussing this post, and the post says, "Coochie is everywhere, but a woman who wants to help you become who God called you to be isn't." Right? And so one of the responses to that post was a young Black lady who says, "We're tired of helping, or didn't you know that? Everyone is responsible for their own growth. No one helps Black women become who we're meant to be." And so that's the conversation we're having right now. Who is responsible for helping you become who you're supposed to be? Is it the woman? Is it the man? Is it your mate? Is it your responsibility? That's the conversation. That's what we're
Can
talking
I
about.
just say something really quickly? It sounds like she's giving up on Black men.
Mm.
So saying that, it's just like, oh well, Black women, we've been doing that, you know, and like, who's gonna help us? Don't give up on the Black men. Like, you can't give up on them, even if that is the case. And then I feel like it also goes back to who are you surrounding yourself with? Because I know the Black men in my life, they're pouring into me just as much as I'm pouring into them.
That's it. And maybe if he had said, but a wife who wants to help you become who God called you to be, it'd be better. Because if you're in relationships and you're giving your all and you're in these long 2 and 3 and 4 year relationships and it don't work out, you know, we don't have a lot of those phases in our life that we can keep giving that as a woman, because all we're doing is getting older. Everybody's getting older. So you have 4 relationships like that, you 40, and you still haven't found your king, as he said, right? So I think that, but like I said, I hear a lot of hurt in her statement. And she does have to just find that person that's willing to be reciprocal and pour back into her so that she can live her dreams and not be tired, not be who she, you know, doesn't want to be. She can be her best self, whatever version that is.
And I'm not gonna say a lot of women feel that way, but based on the post, there are women that feel that way. So somebody else responded to her saying, "This is true as well." Somebody else responded saying, "I feel you here. I hear you as well. There are things we both can do to be better for one another, biblically speaking, specifically for one another." And then she responds, "I have done this many times and for years when I should have been putting all that energy into myself as there was no reciprocation." Another person says, "Bingo." And then somebody else comes in and was like, "So sorry you have not met your king yet." Like somebody recognized, like, this young lady is hurt.
Yeah.
But it still begs to ask the question, who is responsible for your growth? Right?
And
what
was her second comment?
Her second comment was, I have done this many times and for years when I should have been putting all of that energy into myself as there was no reciprocation.
Yep. And that goes back to what I said earlier. The fact that she wasn't putting that energy into herself, she was dating people that she had no business dating because she wasn't healing herself. She wasn't working on herself to find that king. So I hope that now she knows she has to put that energy into herself, and now she'll be able to identify, or in the future, whenever she's ready, she'll be able to identify that king that will pour into her just as much as she's pouring into him. And in regards to the post about the woman who is helping you be who God called you to be, that doesn't only entail one thing, right? So that could be words of affirmation to him, or it could be, you know what, he worked really hard today. Let me make sure I have his dinner ready, right? So I think there's also layers to that we have to discuss, because maybe, you know, she saying she poured into him and she was doing all of these things, but like, what were you doing? Like, that's what I would ask her. Like, what were you doing for these men?
Kiki, in her statement, she says a deep rabbit hole, and it really is. I remember when I was in my early 20s, like 20, I met this guy who had it all together, and I kid you not, it was like he got a black cloud over him. He ended up, something happened. Oh, he got in a car accident, and his car was totaled. Then I think he lost his job, and it was something else. It was just like one thing after another, and that was right when I met him. So I'm that supportive girlfriend that's like, it'll be okay. This will get better. And then he kind of fell into a little bit of a depression. And we're in our early 20s, y'all. And I was like, Lord have mercy. And I'm trying to live my best life, right? So eventually I had to but I went through a lot with him in that short, like, year and a half that we dated. But I kept trying to be the supportive girlfriend, and it just wasn't working. So I had to let it go. And he bloomed and blossomed, hopefully later on in life. And I definitely bloomed and blossomed. But I tried it. It didn't work out. I moved on. So whoever said that you got to know when to move on, Electra, you do. When it ain't working, hey, turn it around. Go the other direction. It ain't working.
You know, when you're younger, and I don't know how old this lady is. She looks older now. So it looks like she may have used her younger years investing in other people. And what can happen is you will meet someone who you feel has potential, and you will take your time and energy away from what you have going on and put it into them. And that's okay if that's your spouse or significant other or somebody who you know you are working on a life plan with. But what happens is if you're dating person to person to person and you consistently keep taking your energy and putting it into them instead of using it for yourself, you will end up jaded. And what happens is you fix this person up, you get them right, and they leave. And now you're sitting there feeling some kind of way because you could have been working on yourself. What you can do, should do, right, in life is you can big up somebody else and help somebody else grow, but you have to be doing it for yourself, right? You cannot pour into somebody else's cup, drain your cup, and then be looking like who's going to pour into mine. You have to keep some reserve water in your own tank. You have to grow for yourself. You have to invest in yourself. You have to take care of yourself because nothing is promised to you. No one is promised to you. Even if you have the most amazing love and this person is faithful to you and you're faithful to them, you could be on vacation, a tsunami can come in and they could be gone. Like nothing is promised. I use that type of analogy in saying that love didn't fail, right? Because it could be anything. You don't know what it is. So you always have to be investing in yourself. It makes you a better partner. It makes you a better lover. It makes you a better individual. I wrote a note about when I was younger. I've always known kind of, them a powerful being. And I've always gotten in my way, right? And I'm super thankful to the type of men that I have dated because a lot of who I am today comes from their what they saw in me. So I dated this one dude for 5 years and it didn't go anywhere, but he was in an MBA program. And I was like, maybe I should get my master's. So that's kind of what made me get my master's. I dated this one dude and I have a mouth on me, and he would be like, yo, you are not talking to the king of me. So I'm gonna need you to repeat that. And it taught me how to be more submissive and let the king be the king. I dated this one dude who was like, look, we're not about to be out here spending all this money, eating out all the time, ripping and running and traveling and da-da-da. And it taught me to be better with my money. So sometimes you have to date and move around and do these different things. And growth is not just about you as that person. You have to work as a team. You have to be able to accept somebody else trying to develop you and help you to grow so that you can, right?
Yes.
If you only show up to receive or if you only show up to and give, then you can't receive. Like you can't actually receive the growth. So maybe you have to date a different type of a person in order to grow.
Yeah, I love what you're saying, Lene, because you took parts of each man that you dated and say, you know what, it didn't work out with him, but this is what I got from it. I'm wondering if this woman is feeling like she was robbed because it didn't work out for the long haul. Because everything is not supposed to work out for the long haul. You're supposed to take what you need from each situation and then grow from it. So
wait a minute though. Is she investing? If she's investing, let's use that word because I like talking about money. If she's investing in this person, should she expect a return? Should she expect a cut of the check? And if she doesn't get it, is she robbed?
It depends on what she was receiving.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can invest in people, right? And you can get something in return. But if it's not what you want, doesn't mean that they still didn't invest in you.
Right. Okay.
So I done made some investing myself. Okay. So let me tell y'all how my investing goes. I got hype right now because that's a good question. And I'm going to answer that question for you. Okay. The last maybe since I was probably the last maybe 6 dudes that I have dated have gotten married after they've dated me.
How you feel about that, Lene?
Yeah.
I feel like I've invested in them. So the one dude I dated, who I dated for a long time, I thought it was really going to go somewhere and do something. He just kept dragging his feet, and so in the end, I was like, I just can't do this with you anymore. And so I parted ways or whatever. And the next girl he met, he married her, and I was like, what the hell? He was like, I didn't want her to leave me like you left me. So I knew it was time for me to commit.
Ouch.
Right.
But he wasn't right for you. He wasn't right. It wasn't right.
Well, he just emailed me the other day too, under his business. Do you know anybody that needs some service, some cleaning services? No.
Block.
I
Next
do not.
thing you know, he's gonna be talking about other services.
I was like, he's just trying to bait me into a conversation to have a conversation. I'm like, I ain't doing it.
No.
But I feel old girl's pain when you invest in somebody, because I am who I am, and I'm going to be who I am. So I'm going to rub off on you too, right? It's going to go both ways. And so I know I'm giving out business knowledge. I know I'm motivating, I'm empowering. I'm saying what you can do, what you shouldn't do. I cook, I travel, I do these things. So I know that I'm putting something into these young brothers, not younger, but these men that I'm dating. And afterwards, when they go do something else, they're like, okay, I don't want to say I'm fully grown. I don't want to say that they're fully developed, but they're just at a different place where they're like, okay, I'm ready to do something different.
There's a word for that. When a woman kind of gets a man ready and he ends up going on to marriage, but not with you. I can't think. Hopefully somebody in the comments knows. It's like an expression for that. But Travis says, did you leave the relationship too early? You didn't give that brother enough time.
For that particular situation, I probably stayed in the relationship too long. So I didn't leave it early. It had been 5 years, and I had already gone through a variety of different things with this individual, from going to visit them where I had to talk to them through a phone. Nothing criminal, just child support, his crazy baby mama, nothing crazy. To dealing with the being emotionally unavailable. I just want you to wait. I just want you to wait. I just want you to wait. To being at church and we can't hang out together at church, but I'm hanging out with my homegirl here. Like, just I had already dealt with enough stuff to where I was at the point where I'm ready to do something. I know what I want with my life.
And was he reciprocating? And maybe not just this guy, but were in those relationships, were they reciprocating to where you feel like you were getting some interest off of your investment, some dividends? Was it paying out dividends along the way?
So this is a very real conversation. We do straight talking here. So we're gonna have real conversations. The type of return that I was getting on my investment, I couldn't take to the bank. Okay. It was only between 9 p.m. and about 3 a.m. That was about it. That was my only real investment. But let me not say that, because this was the one who got me to go to school. This is the one who helped me to flush my business out. So there was returns on the investment. Called me in the morning. Literally was 90% of everything I needed. But the 10%, which is the rock, the foundation, is what was missing. So I would have still been building something in from a negative.
There you go. And I think that's the problem. I'm sorry, Keisha, real quick. Like when you're in a relationship, and it's because even children, I always think like children, people are like, oh, I can't wait to have kids, but they're takers. Kids are takers. They take, like little babies, and people like, I just want to be loved. And like, they don't love you. They need you. Right. But even my 2-year-old makes me smile, makes me laugh, makes me happy, smiles, and say, I love you, mommy, and does crazy things. So I do get returns. So when you're in a relationship, you're not even getting that, like that warm, fuzzy, that I'm in love. This person is everything
that I like.
Giving it to me. Then you gotta let that go. You can't do that too long. Like once you realize that's a relationship you're in and you're not getting them dividends, you can let that go.
But
let me just reset keep that thought, Keisha. Keep that thought.
Okay.
Melvin Alexander Jr. says, oh, okay, this is a women's situation here. Not a women's situation. I was just giving my opinion. So let me reset the room so you guys know what we're talking about today. Okay. There was a post on Instagram that read, Coochie, pardon my language, Coochie is everywhere, but a woman who wants to help you become who God called you to be isn't. Okay, so that was the post. And then one of the comments read, we're tired of helping, or didn't you know that? Everyone is responsible for their own growth. No one helps Black women become who we're meant to be. So the conversation we're having is who's responsible for your growth? That's the conversation that we're having. It's not a man or woman conversation. It's who's responsible for your growth. And that's, and the conversation takes us a variety of different places. So sorry about that. Go ahead, Keisha.
So what I was going to say is there is a lesson in everything. So even if you are in that relationship that is not making you warm and fuzzy and you don't like them, whatever it is, like there's still a lesson that you can take from it. So I always tell this story about how I was engaged, my other engagement back in 2019, and it was a toxic relationship. And I stayed in that relationship for way too long. I stayed in it because we were together for over a decade. And I'm like, well, we've been together for this long, even though it's not really working, might as well stay together. But we eventually called it quits. From that, my business grew because I took my situation and I say, you know what, like I have to tell my story because there are other women out there that need to hear what I went through, right? As far as my low self-esteem, my low self-confidence. So even though that relationship, it did take away from me emotionally, right? It did drain me. It did make me feel like I wasn't worthy. I took that and I turned it around. So I guess that goes back to, yes, you are responsible for your growth, because I thank him, because had it not been for that relationship, I wouldn't be on air with you guys, right? So there is a lesson in everything, but it's up to you to take that lesson and turn it around and do something with it.
Yeah.
Yep, that's very true. Nehemiah says, I think she says, all experiences has helped me become who I am today, basically. Don't let bitterness blind you from the lessons. You choose or chose whom you chose, good or bad. You have to learn the why. And that's really what it boils down to, specific to this in particular post, right? I think we've identified that this individual, the person who actually made the original post, wants his mate to be someone who helps him become who God wants him to be. So he is specifically looking for a helpmate. And then she responded, we're tired of helping y'all because y'all don't help us. But it comes back to making sure that you're mating with somebody that you are evenly yoked with. If you are looking for a helpmate, if you're looking for somebody to help you, then that is what you should be, that's what you should be manifesting, right? And we can say this about business. Y'all know I'm gonna flip it to business. It's the same thing when we're in a growth space and we want to do business, right? Who's responsible for your business growing?
The business owner.
Who's responsible for your career doing better? The person exactly. Who's responsible for your health and your fitness and your wealth development?
Yeah, absolutely you. Yes.
It's never the other person. It's never the person that you're dealing with. It's always the individual who wants to get to the next level. And too often we blame other people, right? My business isn't doing good because people don't want to pay me for my full rate.
Yeah.
Why they don't want to pay your full rate?
Or nobody will help me. Nobody will help me do it. And it's like, well, then you better find the people. You better pay somebody to help you then. But if you need help, if that's what you've established you need, then you better figure out how to pay somebody to do it, how to get it done.
I think this also goes back to the conversation that we had on Thursday, because yes, you are responsible for your business growing, but you also need that support system. You need that team. So in relationship to the post, he's saying, I have it, I'm responsible, but I want somebody on my team that's going to help me to go further, that it's going to pour into me. And I think it's the same, for business, for any relationship that you have.
So to answer the question of the topic, who gets a cut of the check when you invest in yourself? I definitely think like those who help you get there should get a cut of the check. Now, whether that check is actual money, like true financial dividends, or appreciation, kindness, thankfulness, can I return the favor? Can I pour into you? Can I help big up you? Can I talk about you on Melanated Air and pump your show, pump your clothing line, whatever it is? That is where I think it's reciprocal. So just what Keisha said, when you have a circle, then it's a reciprocal relationship and it's just going around constantly. So everyone's not counting each other's pockets because you're always winning, right? You're around a group of people who always winning. So you're going to win no matter what.
I love that. I love that. Not counting pockets. Yeah. Not counting favors.
You start counting your pockets, boy. Don't tell them how much you made on your sales. It's like, wait a minute, she had 300 attendees and them tickets were $199 a piece. Well, hold on.
You know what's funny? My mom, y'all know I always talk about my mom as part of my support system. She told me all the time, you need to go up on your prices. I don't know why. I'm like, Mom, relax.
It bees like that. So question, how many of you guys on the broadcast right now need help growing? And you don't have to say in what area unless you want to, right? How many individuals need help with growth? It might be growth in relationship. It might be growth in your career. It might be mental growth. It might be personal growth. Maybe you just like, I need to grow in that area. Or it could be growth in your business. And the reason why I'm specifically asking about
raise my hand. I always need to grow. I always need help growing.
Yeah. If you do not know, we am hosting a conference called the Black Power Business Conference, where we are literally going to be helping Black entrepreneurs to grow, because it is your responsibility to grow. And a lot of times people don't grow because they don't have access to growth. They don't know who to turn to grow. Like this young lady sounds like she needs to grow. She needs some healing first, but she also needs to grow, right? And a lot of times people don't know where to turn to in order to get growth. And so we'll stay in our situation and we'll stay stagnant instead of actually getting growth, being surrounded by people who can help us, being surrounded by people who can help us grow. Because really, I want to make sure I say this right. And you guys, we can debate this. This is actually, we might be able to debate this. I think that a lot of the reasons why we stay stagnant and stay the same is because there's an area that we have not healed in, and that's what keeps us from growing. And it's not just personal. It's also in our business. It's also in our relationships, and it's also in our careers.
Yeah,
I agree.
Right. So
it's definitely that fear.
We call it
fear. It's fear. It's either love or fear. I really don't think there's anything in between. When you're moving in love or you're moving in fear. And even if that movement of fear is paralysis, right? But it's like, if you love yourself, you love your abilities, you love your confidence, you love your knowledge, you're going to go boldly into this world. But if you're afraid, you've been hurt, you've lost money, you made some bad decisions, you made some mistakes, then you're walking and tiptoeing, and then you're stepping back, and you're really meek because you don't want to make the same mistakes. But you should go boldly into the world and say, I have what it takes, so I'm going to succeed. And damn, whatever happens, right? But yeah, I agree 100%. Like fear will keep you paralyzed. Fear will have you talking yourself out of your own dreams.
Yeah, sure will.
Yeah.
And fear shows itself in asking for help. Like this young lady should be asking for help from someone so that she can deal with the fears and the traumas that she has, so that she can get out into the world and attract a king that will help her be who God wants her to be. Right. And I see it in business too, especially Black entrepreneurs. We start our business and we think, I'll figure it out, instead of asking for help. I wrote down this, I wrote it down. Oh, I know what it says. It says, the old days of I'll figure it out on the figuring out by myself is old. Like
Mhm.
back in the day, we used to have to try to figure shit out. Part of my language, we used to have to figure shit out on our own. Like, I don't understand marketing. I don't understand branding. I don't do this. I'll figure it out. Those days are done. Like, you can literally go to a conference, go to a summit, hire a coach, and have somebody help you to grow. You don't have to figure it out by yourself. You don't have to hurt. You don't have to be broke. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to have this business and not make money. You
Right.
don't have to rely on your day job when you could literally be investing in yourself so that you can invest in your business. Like, that is old.
Yep.
But too often I see, just like this young lady, instead will be hurt by our business and be like, maybe I'm not supposed to be an entrepreneur. Maybe it's not for me. Maybe I can't date. Maybe nobody likes me. Maybe nobody likes my prices. Instead of just saying, you know what, maybe I need help in my business. She should really be saying, maybe I need help with my growth.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. And to that point, if y'all go to the Real Teddy Talks on Instagram, and I have several posts. If you like it, subscribe and tag 2 entrepreneurs, you have the opportunity to win a VIP ticket to the Black Power Conference. I will pick the name live tomorrow, Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So do that. IG, the Real Teddy Talks. Like, subscribe, tag 2 entrepreneurs, 2 wannabe entrepreneurs, 2 wannapreneurs, whatever. And I will take a list of all of those names and give somebody a completely free VIP ticket pass to the Black Power Conference this weekend, 5 and 6 March. So if money's the thing, then now you don't have an excuse. Do what you're supposed to do, and maybe you'll get that free ticket.
Yes.
And y'all look at somebody look at what the post specifically said, that nobody was out here helping you be who you're called to be. You have a Black woman sitting on the stage who just said, I'm going to help you be who God called you to be. I'm going to give you a free VIP ticket. All you have to do is go like her post and tag 2 other people.
And that comes with discounts to a whole bunch of other stuff. There's 20 panelists. Everybody's offering something.
Yep.
And the VIP ticket gives you even more discount on those things. So if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, you're trying to grow your business, you're trying to do better, this is your opportunity to get at a discount, which isn't offered all the time, right? You have a whole collective basket of discounts. So I would advise you to take advantage.
And just so you guys know, right now you can save $50. So if you go to get your ticket, use the code, I believe it's SAVE 50, SAVE 50, and it's on the page. You can save $50 on your registration. Today we are discussing, just so we stay on topic, today we are discussing a post that we saw on Instagram that literally is asking or making a statement. It says, coochie is everywhere, but women who want to help you become who God called you to be isn't. And so we're talking about whose responsibility is it for you to become who God wants you to be. And one of the comments specifically says, we're tired of helping, or didn't you know that? Everyone is responsible for their own growth. No one helps Black women become who we're meant to be. And I would just like to say, I literally have a conference that helps Black women become who they're supposed to be. If you go to www.blackpowerconference.com, there are 20 Black women are showing up to help Black women be who God called them to be. So
that's right. That's right.
It's each person's individual responsibility to be who God calls you to be. However, for your helpmate, your significant other, if that's really your teammate, you should be sowing a seed in who God is called to be.
I'm a dreamer, but I'm also a doer. But I'm a big dreamer. And even though I met my husband, I was only 25, but I'm an old soul, y'all. Like, I felt so much older. I felt like I've been dating for decades, but I hadn't. But it felt that way. I will never give up the dream of that person that's going to help you be your best person. Like, that is a dream we all deserve and to fulfill. You deserve to find someone. It doesn't have to necessarily be your mate, like your husband, your wife, but someone in your life that's your cheerleader and support system that's helping you become your greatness. And you're that for them too. We deserve that. You deserve that. You should have that. Like, you should accept nothing less, honestly.
Yeah. And ladies, I'm tired of this false narrative that Black men are not helping Black women. And I think we spoke about this probably back in January, but no one is helping Black women, and Black men aren't doing this, and like Black women are alone. And I don't know if the two of you feel that way. But I know I don't feel that way. I feel that there are plenty of Black men who want to support, pour into, and love Black women, love on Black women, give to Black women, and they see us as goddesses, as queens. And, like it just really annoys me when I hear, oh, no one is helping Black women. There are Black men helping Black women. There are Black women helping Black women. So we have to stop spreading that, because you see it all the time online, and people that don't know any better, they take it on and they're like, yeah, there's nobody helping me. I'm a Black woman. And then it's toxic for the community. So if you feel like there's no one helping you as a Black woman, say there's no one helping you as a Black woman. Not the entire community. You can't speak for me, because there are plenty of Black men and Black women that are pouring into me.
There you go. That's it. Always and never. That's right. That's not an intelligent statement, because nothing is always and nothing is never.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think you have, because I have a homeboy who always puts up this post who says, alone but never lonely, right? So, and I live by that. Like, I'm single, so I'm alone, but I'm never lonely, because I'm surrounded by such good people, good Black men, good Black women. So I'm never lonely, right? But more importantly, I've done a lot of self work so that I can do self growth. I was broken for many years, and dating from a broken place, running my business from a broken place, living my life from a broken place caused me to not be able to see the growth that I wanted to see. I wanted to grow. I knew I needed to grow, but I didn't know how to grow. And also, I didn't want to have to ask for help to grow, because I don't want people to know that I'm stuck or I'm broken, or that I don't have the answer. So I just sat in my brokenness, not growing. And when I think back on it, I'm like, why did I do that? Like, it didn't solve anything. It made me stay broke longer. Like, it didn't solve anything. And so now that I'm on this side, and I openly talk about, different things that have happened in my life and my growth and how I got to be where I am now, asking for help is so much better. Getting out of my own way so that I can grow. Self-reflection, looking at my own issues, breaking them down. Those things, I can't even really explain it to you. Therapy, all of that stuff, it just like pulled back a whole layer of life. And if you think about, and I can't think of another analogy right now, so I'm sorry that this is it. If you think about a sore, right? You have a sore and you pull the scab back, like that's nasty. It's blood in there, and it's the raw meat, and it's disgusting. But then when it heals, and it heals back, and it's even, and it's not sore anymore. Like, that's literally what asking, to me anyway. It's like, it's what asking for help is about, because if not, you just keep picking the scab, and it never heals, and it never heals. But once you get to a place where you reflect, like, okay, let me think. If I keep doing this, it's going to leave a scar. It's going to do this. But if let me just let it do what it's supposed to do. Let me just let it heal. What do I need to make this better? And then I let it do what it's supposed to do. It comes back better. And at 45, I feel like I'm just now living my best life now. And it's because I asked for help. I know who I am. I know what I do. I know where I'm going. I've surrounded myself with people where I'm not the smartest person in the room. Because sometimes that plays with our mindset. Sometimes people won't go into a room where other people are smarter, because it makes you feel some kind of way, like, damn, they read better than me. They read more books than me. They make more money than me. They got their stuff together. Their businesses are further than me. And we won't go into those rooms because it makes us feel some kind of way. And I operated like that for a while, until I was like, I'm ready to hit this $1 million status. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to do that. And I'm like, damn, I got to go into these other rooms where these millionaires is hanging out, so I can get some of this conversation so that I can grow.
Mm-hmm.
They move different. People who are smarter than you, who are in different industries than you, that know different things than you, move differently. And if you don't
Yep.
put yourself in that path of that person, you'll never understand or even see the perspective. Lately, I've been doing called virtual coffees. I don't think I made that up. I probably read it in in a book somewhere, but I'll email someone that's doing something I might be interested in. And I'm like, hey, can we Zoom and do a virtual coffee? 15, 30 minutes. I pick your brain about X, Y, and Z. And, we just get to see my smiling face. And most times
I
people
do
take
the
me
virtual
up on
coffee.
it.
I'm like, that sounds familiar. I do the virtual coffee. I do a virtual coffee chat.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's for me. That doesn't mean you got it from me, but I do a virtual coffee.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever it takes. You know what I mean? To get, because now in the days of COVID, I'm in Egypt. Like a lot of people I talk to are in the States. So it's all about that growth. Like whatever it freaking takes, y'all better be willing to do it. And if it's doing it alone for the meantime, then do it alone. But I assure you, once you start stepping out of your comfort zone, and I know we had that comfort zone discussion, but once you step out of the place you've been and start moving out of fear and in love, you will doors start opening. You start meeting new people and new mentors, and new friends, and new business people, and new cheerleaders. I have people rooting for me just because they like my YouTube. Like I don't know them, don't know anything about them, and they'd be riding or dying in them comments, and I love it. Like there are people out there that want to help.
Yeah, it's true. And going back to the post, I don't know. I think I feel some type of way about this little comment. Going back to this comment, maybe the women that feel this way is because of what you guys said, right? They're not asking for help, one, and they're not asking the right people for help. So that's a thing too, where you going to your little girlfriend that is in the same situation as you that don't know how to get out either. You're asking the wrong people. Like you're surrounding yourself with the wrong people. And not to say like, friends are important, right? But if your friends are keeping you where you currently are and you're not moving, you need to start moving in different circles.
Yeah.
So start asking for help and start asking the right people for help. If they haven't been where you want to go, maybe they're not the right person to ask.
That's not the right people. Maybe. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Because you know what? You make a good point, Keisha. If she says everyone is responsible for their own growth. No one helps Black women become who we're meant to be. She says, I have done this many times and for years when I should have been putting all of that energy into myself as there was no reciprocation. A homegirl should have been like, hey, you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. Maybe you should. Have you tried? James and Jimmy and Leroy and John, they might as well have been the same man. Like somebody in her corner should have been like, hey, I got a homegirl that'd be like, she don't play. She'd be like, so did you call such and such? Or did you see such and such? Oh, you out of town? Who you with? Like she makes sure. And if I think I'm about to make a bad choice or decision, I'll be like, girl, let's go to lunch. Let me tell you what happened. But you have to have people around you that are invested in your growth. Your growth is your responsibility. But the people around you should help you to be accountable to the responsibility of your growth.
That's it. That's it.
Yes. There you go.
And some people you got to step away from, maybe not permanently, but maybe temporarily. If I'm trying to lose 20 pounds and the person I'm around always eating Oreos and chips and takeout, they're not a bad person. Maybe they can do that. Maybe they have a high metabolism, but I don't. So I can't be around you until I get my willpower together. And if I ain't got no willpower, I ain't going to be around you. I'm going to be doing my own thing, going to the gym, doing my hits at home or whatever it is. Like you have to set your own boundaries. You do have to set your own boundaries so that you can grow. Y'all know what's good for you and you know what's not. Like we are adults. All of us 20-year-olds know what's good for you and what's not. So you better enact it, put it in action and do it.
That goes back to those silos we talked about last week, right? You are responsible for your growth, and everybody that you're around may not be growing, but you can find you a group of people who are about growth, right? So if you feel like, you know what, I do want to grow, I do want to see more in my life, I do want to have better relationships, I do want to, it doesn't matter what it is. If there's an area in your life where you want to grow, get around individuals who also want to grow in that area. Today we're talking about business and or relationships, but there's growing in your health, there's growing in your wealth, there's growing in your career, there's growing in who you are as a woman, there's growing in as being a wife. There's all these different areas that you can grow in if you're intentional about growing in them and intentional about healing, but most importantly, intentional about doing the work. And if I have to say, be intentional about identifying the areas where you need growth.
That's right. That's right. I told y'all I manifested my husband last year. I told y'all I didn't meet him, but I said I am going to be engaged next year. My mom was like, "To who? You're not even dating anyone." I'm like, "Don't worry about that. God got that covered." But you know what I was doing last year? So I was just like, you know what? There's certain meals that I don't know how to cook, and I want to be a wife, and I want my husband to be good. I said, Mom, every Sunday I want to do, like a wife in training. So I want you to teach me how to cook certain meals. And every Sunday she was teaching me how to cook certain meals. So I was preparing myself to be a wife. I was not playing.
I love it.
Like, you have to prepare yourself. Like, preparation really is key. And I just want to shout out one of my clients, LaDonna Williams. She's in the comments. Hey, LaDonna girl.
Hey, LaDonna.
Herself. She's starting her t-shirt business. She's working with me right now. And she's starting her t-shirt business in May. So definitely go check her out.
Absolutely.
Hey, LaDonna girl.
I love that, wife in training. Like, you have to like, it is a marathon. Life is a marathon. And for those of you that never ran a marathon, I've not run a full marathon, so I'm not the one to be telling you about it either. But it is just, you have to have your mental game together, your physical game together, and you got to keep going even when you don't want to. But you can slow down, you can speed up, but just take your time. Like, there's no pressure. But if you want a husband or you want a wife, you better damn sure be prepared when they walk into your life.
That's right.
Be someone that they would want to be with. And if that means learning how to cook some extra meals, and that's what the hell you do.
Let me tell you, Keisha's fiance did it was either a video or I think it was a reel or a story. And he's showing his little plate, and he was like, "My fiance can cook," and Keisha in the background. And now I got the backstory, and it all makes sense.
It all makes
He made a little salmon.
My mama taught him about them smothered pork chops. I see now.
Okay. And then before I left on Sunday. Before I left, I was like, okay, let me make a meal that I know he could eat, as leftovers for a few days. So he posted that on Instagram. He was like, "Oh, this is the best macaroni salad." You gotta be prepared for your husband.
You do.
That comes from growth. So I personally cannot help you with your health or relationship, because y'all know I'm still single, but these two can. But what I can help you with right now anyways is your business. So if that's an area where you want to grow, or you want to network with other people that are in business, or you want to be around people who are growing in that area, or you're looking to start a business, please make sure you get registered for the Black Power Conference. The link is down there, www.blackpowerconference.com. Right now you can save $50 on the registration. Use the code SAVE50. There are 20 Black powerful women entrepreneurs that are going to be leading the charge in this conversation. We about to talk about everything in business: business credit, business funding, bootstrapping, crowdfunding, white labeling products, marketing, branding, business taxes, how to protect your intellectual property, how to build your team, white labeling, what else? How to do a digital product, how to start a business. So if you are interested in starting a business, if you already have a business but you're looking to transition to full-time,
side hustles,
sales, pitching your business, how to close the deal, how to charge your full price in your business so you don't have to run a business based on discounts. We getting into it. We're gonna make sure that everybody that comes to this conference leaves with a powerful business.
I love it.
Listen, y'all playing if y'all don't have y'all tickets yet. Like seriously, I don't want y'all to look back and say I should have. I want y'all to look back and say I did that. I attended that conference and it was the best conference that I could have invested in. Stop playing. Like that's the problem. We be playing too much. Like stop playing.
Yeah. And at this price point, y'all not gonna get this kind of information nowhere else. I promise you that. Like this is an opportunity. Look at it as an opportunity.
If
Invest
you know
in yourself in the new year. Yeah.
Yes. You want somebody to cut the check, you got to grow your business, grow your brand, grow yourself. Melvin Alexander says,
I saw that.
Go get Steve Harvey's book, Problem Solved. Well, Melvin, I read Steve Harvey's book and it was raggedy.
It was raggedy. I hated that people was like acting like that was saying something. I didn't say nothing.
At best.
Raggedy at best.
Raggedy at best. It made a cute little movie.
I did. It was a movie.
Made a cute little movie. But if anybody is out there using those techniques,
yeah,
I got a tactic. Like you ain't even. There's a tip. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't be out there doing that kind of stuff, people.
And every relationship is not one size fits all, Melvin. So.
Yeah. All right. So before we wrap this up and go, any final thoughts, ladies? Go around the room, get some final thoughts.
I definitely I want to cut the check on things I've invested in and investments that I've made, and people should expect to cut the check if they've invested in me. And that doesn't have to be literal, but I definitely need, if I'm putting out, I need to be receiving, and we all need that. So it definitely needs to be a reciprocal relationship, whether it's in love, friendship, situationship, whatever it is. So that is your barometer, is if you're in the right directions, if you're feeling something back. And if you're not getting anything, ladies, man, y'all got to cut it loose. Stop wasting time and becoming bitter and hurt and move on to the next thing, right? But in business, sometimes you might not get a return immediately, okay? But that's where the investment comes in, investing in the knowledge, like the Black Power Conference. So there's investments all around. You're the decision maker. You are the one responsible for the outcome. So do invest in yourself and take responsibility for the decisions you make.
I love that. I'm just going to say, what I said earlier in regards to doing the work and pouring into yourself and making sure, like the post said, like you are responsible for your growth. You are responsible for your healing. And when you do that, that's when you'll be able to identify exactly what you need and exactly who you need on your team. So it's not until you are whole, like Lene said earlier, it's not until you do the work that you will know who can go with you and who you need to cut loose. And get your tickets to the Black Power Conference.
Yes.
Definitely get your ticket to the Black Power Conference for the low right now.
Low.
It will not be this low next year. But yeah, no, really do go get your tickets for the Black Power Conference. The banner, I'm gonna drop it up here for those of you that want the website. It's blackpowerconference.com. You can use the code SAVE50 to save $50 this next weekend coming up. This is Melanated Air. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 2:00 p.m. Eastern. We look at what's happening in the world, usually in the Black community, but just something that's happening in the world. And we put a melanated spin on it. We look at it from a melanated perspective, and we do this every Tuesday and Thursday for about 1 hour at 2:00 p.m. Eastern. You can follow us individually. You see everybody's handle here. I am Lene Javette. Keisha Ravenel is at We Inspire Brand. Teddy Ewing is at The Real Teddy Talks. You can also go and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Melanated Air. And we love y'all. We love this. We hope that the conversation was beneficial to you guys today, and that you enjoyed it and that you got something out of it. If so, invite your friends, tell your friends and family about it. What Rihanna said, tell them to pull up. Um, they can find us right here, right here. Tuesdays and Thursdays have these types of conversations and dialogue. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in and showing up today. As always, continue to be blessed, stay black, and be one. See you guys later.